Looking to improve your squad on Ultimate Team? Visit IGGM.com for safe and reliable coins with the link in the description. Use my promo code NA to get 5% off. What's up, y'all? For today, we're going to be discussing the 442. And this video is going to be a bit more quicker. I'm just going to get the formation out the way. I'll have the code somewhere in the comment to the description. But I'll just real quick explain what you're working with right here, what you want to look out for in case you do try to use this in-game. But the 442 in itself, it's generally one of the only formations in the game that's consistent across the board. And what I mean by that is it's a pretty simple formation. You don't really have to do too much in roles. You can use a lot of the different combinations. A lot of them are pretty successful. It's just a good formation all around, to be honest. And with that being said, it's arguably one of the best formations in the game. It's too early to say that definitely, but it's still really good, really consistent. And the reason why I'm going to do this video quicker than usual is primarily because I want to change the structure of these videos that I'm making for FC25 especially. Specifically, my next videos that have custom tactics, I'm just going to include RTG gameplay. I'm not going to do this much explanation. I'm effectively going to explain what's going on through gameplay from Twitch. So the videos are just going to be 90% gameplay, if that makes sense. I got to Division 3 earlier this morning with these custom tactics for the 442. I didn't do it live on Twitch though, so I just have clips basically. But with that being said, I'm just going to go straight to them real quick. And here we have the custom tactics for the 442. You can see the code top left if you haven't seen it in the comments or whatever yet. But real quick, we're just going to go over what you see right here and if there are changes that you do want to do yourself in case you want to, accommodate your players' player role, chemistry, whatever the thing is, the plus, whatever that stuff is, if you want to make any combinations there. Notice that I do have players out of position. Ignore that. That's because this is a different squad that I have right here. This is a 5-back squad, so I have 5 defenders on the pitch basically. That's for a future video because I'm going to be doing 5-backs in the future because unfortunately they're meta this year. But yeah, we have counter, defensive approach 89. When you put the code in, there's a pretty good chance that the defensive approach won't say 89, it'll say 70 instead. The code system doesn't include the specific line height. It's kind of annoying. So if it says 70, go ahead and put 89. You can use 70 as well. There's not a huge difference, but 89 just makes it a little bit more aggressive. Yeah, with that being said, you have the player roles right here. Starting with the ones up front, you have advanced forward, attack, poacher, attack. And just to make it clear, advanced forward is going to be a player that you can basically trust to just have the ball at their feet. They'll be doing everything from making runs in behind to coming short for the ball, receive the ball at their feet. If you want to turn around, do a skill move, step over, L1 speed boost, something like that. And then the poacher is just going to be the one that's sheer pace. You just need to make runs in behind over and over and over again. That way you can feed them. Now, there's a reason why we put the winger on attack next to them. Is because the winger on attack, they're going to hug the touchline and bring a fullback with them. That way the half space for the poacher to run in behind is going to be bigger than normal. And the whole benefit of having a winger in attack to begin with is forcing the other team's defensive line to just stretch out to accommodate that consistently. And if they're not being stretched out, you're going to have a player that's open out wide to begin with. That way you always have an option just in case like you're passing around when the other team is sitting back defending. You're passing around, you don't have an option. You can just go to this guy right here and aim for a cutback or a cross or something like that. But if that's not the case, if this player is being marked down, then that's good because you can have options down the middle in that case, especially with the poacher, because you can get through balls to this player right here. Inside forward right here, they're going to be making a lot of link up with the left striker, so you're going to want a player right here that is really good with the ball at their feet, so good dribbling and shooting. This player just needs to be really good as well. Like, they need to be good in pace, dribbling, shooting, across the board. You would just want a good player right here. I know I have Kudus right here, but ignore that. Like I said, this is a different squad. To be honest, I'm just waiting for Friday so I can open my Rivals Awards, so that's when I'll build an actual squad. But yeah, and then your box-to-box midfielder, you can change this to playmaker. If you're brave, you can change this to playmaker. However, I'm not, primarily because even though I was playing with playmaker right here, but the thing with playmaker is that they bomb the box a lot, which can leave your midfield wide open because you're just going to have the right center mid by themselves. But if you understand that risk, you can absolutely set this to playmaker. But with box to box, they do a pretty good job of being everywhere whenever you need. And then your holding, defend. This center mid is going to be basically like a complete CDM. Because they're a center mid, they're still going to go up pretty frequently, but that's fine. Holding prevents them from actually bombing into the box entirely. So they're not going to be making runs in behind unless you trigger them or if they're in a situation where it's a counterattack or something like that. But it's important to note that the false back right here, because you already have a player on the right that's holding width, you don't need to have a fullback right here to begin with, because there's not going to be much, benefit when you have the ball at your feet, If this player is just on the right playing fullback and you already have a winger, that passing lane is going to be closed down more often than not. So you're not going to have, if you've noticed in game when you have the ball at your feet with the fullback or the wingback, you don't really have many passing options besides, passing backwards or, just passing somewhere that's not progressing the ball. But with Fallback, they position themselves really well where you're able to send through balls to the poacher or to the winger. Fallback this year is just really good to begin with. The AI on it is really helpful. And you don't have to worry necessarily all the time about the other team counterattacking through that space that you can see that's wide open on the right. Some games, I've noticed there was like one game in particular where I had that issue, and all I did was I switched this player back to regular fullback, because if the other team is using a winger on this side of the pitch, and they keep that winger on attack, that way they're staying up. In theory, they're going to be able to just spam long balls to that player over and over and over again. That is easier said than done, because it requires you to be in a counterattack situation. It requires that player to basically require long ball plus, and it requires a little bit of luck as well. So if you are in that situation and the player's just spamming long balls like a rat to your wing right here, then you can just switch this player back to regular fullback, but I haven't noticed that to be an issue. Then your two center backs as well, they're both on defender balanced. Keep in mind, very often your defender, whenever you're switching it in game, maybe you're using other custom tactics or whatever, it's going to be on regular defender defend. If you're using high depth, make sure to use defender balanced. That way they're actually closing down the other team strikers. They're going to be enforcing the offside trap more aggressively. And that's really the important part with our defensive structure in this custom tactic. It's more so just always controlling that defensive line in terms of offside trap. So you have your sweeper keeper balanced, and this year they actually improved sweeper keeper a little bit, where what it does is when you have the ball, the sweeper keeper is going to actually be almost at midfield, basically like a regular sweeper keeper in real life, basically. Now I haven't had a situation where this is helpful, but there might be a situation one day where they try to counterattack and the sweeper keeper is like 40 yards up the pitch and he's able to take advantage of that situation. But I haven't, like I said, I haven't seen that situation happen in game, but I figured it might be helpful one day. And you have fullback balance, because despite what the shape looks like right now, even though it's on balance right now, he's still going to tuck in a little bit and act as a regular defender to begin with. We just need this player to defend, join the defensive line, almost act like as a 3-back formation, even though that's not necessarily the case. And we don't really need his help in in offense. But yeah, that's all. Like I said, guys, for future videos, we're going to completely change the structure. I'm going to basically work on the custom tactic live on Twitch, which you can see in the link in the description, and then we're gonna follow like a complete RTG format on YouTube from there. So what I'll do is basically just from the first minute on, it's just gonna be complete RTG footage of like everything good, all the goals, anything that's worth talking about with the custom tactic, and then like I'll have like the coach somewhere in the first 30 seconds or something like that, something easy. But when it comes to this formation, like I said, it's a pretty simple formation. You can't really go wrong with it. I only advise people to just always be diverse when they're using other people's custom tactics, because this FIFA is not like last FIFA where, like I said this in the other video, you can't just copy paste custom tactics and expect the same success. You have to understand what's going on with your custom tactic, and when something's not working, you might have to make 1 or 2 changes. It's not like last FIFA where if it worked for someone else, it's going to work for you. That's absolutely not the case. You got to know what you're doing, and if something's not working, you got to know what you need to change, which is why I'm trying to explain things for you guys. But other than that, this is a pretty solid custom tactic, pretty solid formation, one of the better formations in the game from what I've seen. It is too early to make any certain claims about the best formation in the game. It might be the 5-4-1. I don't want to say it because that's a 5-back formation, and it takes me a lot of pride to swallow to admit a 5-back is the best formation in the game, because that's pretty ratty. I got to Division 3 without doing any 5-backs, and most people that I was playing once I got to Division 4 were using 5-backs, and they were the ones that were giving me the hardest time. And it's very likely a future video is going to be 5-4-1 at this rate. But yeah, I think I've went over everything that needs to be went over. If you guys want to catch future custom tactics before I actually drop them, like I said, we're going to be working on them on Twitch soon, and as well my Discord. I do have a channel for the tactics showcase where me and other people will post tactics that you want if you'd like to test them before I post a video about them or try them on Twitch. So if you want to see the custom tactics I work on before they get posted or anything like that, you can find that in the Discord below. But yeah, guys, that's all.